In a world overflowing with noise, distractions, and endless choices, there is a profound power in simplicity. When you strip away the unnecessary, you discover the essential. When you silence the chaos, you hear your true voice, you. Yet, we often underestimate the invisible weight we carry. Not always physical objects, but toxic habits, draining relationships, unhealed wounds, or even dreams that no longer belong to us. Imagine being a traveler walking through life with a backpack on your shoulders, heavy with everything you haven't let go of. Consider your relationships. Not every person who starts the journey with you is meant to finish it with you. Some lift you higher, others quietly anchor you down. We cling to relationships out of loyalty or fear of loneliness, even when they drain us. Think of Michael, a young man who dreamed of writing a book, but never had time, collapsing each night in exhaustion while scrolling his phone. Letting go is not easy. It requires honesty, and honesty can hurt. It may mean walking away from a friendship, a career, or a routine that feels safe. But safety and growth rarely coexist. Safety keeps you where you are. Growth pulls you where you're meant to be. One of the most profound examples of removing what doesn't serve comes from nature itself. The snake sheds its old skin. That skin once protected it, but holding on to it would restrict its growth. Similarly, an athlete training for the Olympics removes everything unnecessary. Junk food, late nights, distractions. Because their vision is greater than their comfort. Your life works the same way. If your dream is big enough, if your growth matters deeply, you will find the strength to release what doesn't belong. Steve Jobs once said, "Focus is about saying no." When he returned to Apple in the late 1990s, the company was struggling under dozens of unfocused projects. Like a photographer zooming in on a subject, focus turns chaos into clarity. Trying to water a garden with a hose full of holes accomplishes little. Focus channels energy effectively. Meditation, journaling, and reflection are tools to help find clarity in a distracted world. Focusing on the essentials doesn't shrink your life. It strengthens it. Think of a sailor venturing into the ocean without a map or compass, or an archer narrowing her eyes, tightening her fingers on the bowstring, sweat glistening on her temple, arrow aimed with absolute precision. Stories like Raj, a businessman wanting to expand his company, Andrew, a young entrepreneur, Sarah, a mother of three overwhelmed by clutter, and Marie Kondo, who transformed global perspectives on tidying. All illustrate the power of focus, clarity, and intentional choices. Clarity comes from experience. Kobe Bryant, a basketball legend, demonstrated how dedication, discipline, and focus create excellence. Bedrooms made perfectly, surfaces cleared, and monks living in bare, uncluttered monasteries remind us of the peace simplicity brings. A cluttered space often signals a cluttered calendar. Asking yourself, does this item add value to my life, or does it weigh me down? Is a step toward clarity and growth. Ultimately, life is too short to carry unnecessary weight, and your growth is too important to be held back by what doesn't serve you. Minimalism and simplicity are not empty ideals. They are a forgotten power, offering freedom, focus, and the space to become who you are truly meant to be. In life, focus and clarity are more powerful than busyness and endless motion. Consider Maria, a devoted mother who dreamed of painting. Years passed with her canvas collecting dust, until her daughter asked, "Mom, why don't you paint anymore?" That question pierced her heart. Maria realized she had filled her life with noise and neglected what was essential. By carving out 1 hour a day for painting, she rediscovered joy and ultimately held her first art exhibit. Focusing on essentials doesn't mean ignoring responsibilities. It means aligning energy with what truly matters. Ask yourself, if I could do only 3 things today, what would they be? Then let go of the rest. Focus requires choice and courage, because distraction feels safe, and multitasking gives the illusion of productivity. Like a photographer zooming in, your life gains clarity when you focus, turning chaos into direction. Great achievers illustrate this principle. Michael Jordan didn't chase 10 sports. He focused on basketball. Writers immerse themselves in finishing 1 book. Leaders prioritize missions that define them. Essentials. Health, relationships, purpose must be identified, claimed, and protected fiercely. Without focus, life leaks energy like watering a garden with a hose full of holes. Remove distractions, and your efforts nourish what matters. James, a teacher, spent years buried in administrative tasks, leaving no energy for teaching. By stripping back to essentials, setting boundaries, and delegating, he rekindled his passion, showing that focus restores purpose. Inner clarity is equally vital. Meditation, journaling, and reflection are tools to silence the noise and make decisions aligned with your priorities. Ask yourself, what do I value most? Which activities energize me? If I had 1 year left, what would I focus on? Every yes to the unimportant is a no to the essential. Focusing on essentials sharpens life rather than shrinking it. Pour your energy into health, relationships, purpose, and growth. That is where fulfillment and greatness reside. Equally important is clarity before action. In a world that glorifies motion, many run fast without direction. Like a sailor without a map or an archer without aim, action without clarity wastes energy. Anna, a graduate chasing jobs, discovered her true calling only after reflecting on her values and vision. Similarly, Raj, you, a businessman, failed in expansion until he paused, studied, and aligned actions with his purpose. You, clarity requires stillness, patience, and reflection. It is born in silence and ensures that every step, like an arrow released by a focused archer, hits its target. Ultimately, life's power comes from knowing what matters and acting with intention. Focus on the essentials. Seek clarity before action and remove distractions to ensure your energy creates meaningful impact. When your life is aligned with your priorities, every action feels purposeful, every choice deliberate, and every day meaningful. Clarity protects us from being swept along by others' agendas. Without it, we say yes to everything, follow trends, chase approval, and live by someone else's script. With clarity, we make choices aligned with our values, even if unpopular. Oprah Winfrey exemplifies this. She built her media empire by focusing only on what aligned with her purpose. Clarity isn't always easy. Feeling lost is not failure. It's an invitation to pause and reflect. Tools like journaling, meditation, or asking hard questions, what truly matters to me? Am I acting from fear or purpose? Can guide you. Experience also teaches clarity, as every step shows what energizes or drains you. Kobe Bryant's legendary training demonstrates clarity before action. Every effort aimed at becoming the best player in the world. Without clarity, much of life's activity becomes wasted energy. Our physical spaces mirror our inner state. A messy desk or overflowing closet reflects scattered priorities and trapped energy. Clean, organized environments foster mental clarity. Monks live in bare monasteries for this reason. Marie Kondo's principle, keeping only what sparks joy, illustrates that possessions either serve or drain us. Andrew, a young entrepreneur, transformed his productivity by decluttering his chaotic workspace, leaving only essentials. The result was focus, creativity, and the foundation for business success. Clutter signals a cluttered life. Decluttering creates space for what matters. Steve Jobs' minimalist lifestyle shows the power of simplicity. Fewer possessions conserve energy for vision and creativity. Decluttering is not deprivation, it's intentionality. Releasing the past to embrace the present. Sarah, a mother of 3, turned her overwhelming, cluttered home into a peaceful space, which also transformed her family's emotional life. By decluttering her surroundings, she regained focus, calm, and energy. Ultimately, clarity and simplicity, internally and externally, allow purposeful action, reduce distractions, and create space for what truly matters in life. Clutter is not passive. It creates visual, mental, and emotional noise. Neuroscience shows that a cluttered environment decreases the brain's ability to process information, competing for attention and reducing focus. A clear space, on the other hand, allows the mind to relax and creativity to flourish. Decluttering begins with honesty. Ask whether each item adds value or weighs you down. Create homes for essentials. Make decisions instead of postponing them, and question new purchases. Where will it live? What purpose will it serve? Minimalism is not about owning less. It's about owning with intention. Decluttering is a spiritual and mental practice that creates focus, clarity, and peace. Even small steps, one drawer, one shelf, transform both space and mind. A tidy home becomes a sanctuary, not a storage unit, and lays the foundation for living intentionally. Simplicity is also crucial for achieving goals. Overly complex goals overwhelm and paralyze, while breaking them into small, manageable steps keeps motivation alive. J.K. Rowling focused on finishing chapters before thinking about global fame. Athletes train incrementally to avoid burnout. Completing simple goals releases dopamine, reinforcing motivation, whereas massive goals often create frustration and self-doubt. James Clear advocates simplifying goals until they are too small to fail, allowing momentum to build naturally. Steve Jobs emphasized focus and simplicity, creating fewer world-class products instead of many mediocre ones. Simplifying goals doesn't mean lowering standards. It focuses energy like a laser beam on what matters most. Small, consistent actions compound over time. 10 minutes of daily practice, writing, or meditation may seem minor, but repeated daily, it produces significant growth. Simplification protects against burnout and sustains motivation over the long term. Starting small removes hesitation and creates action, and consistent action produces meaningful progress. Motivation is maintained not through bursts of effort, but through steady, simple, achievable steps that accumulate into lasting transformation. Struggling with motivation often comes from overcomplicating goals. The key is to simplify. Focus on one small step at a time. Small, consistent actions accumulate, making the journey manageable and even joyful. Motivation thrives on clarity, not chaos. Silence and stillness are hidden strengths often overlooked. In a noisy, busy world, true clarity comes from pausing, observing, and reflecting. Silence allows insights, creativity, and self-awareness to emerge. Historical examples, from Leonardo da Vinci's contemplative walks to modern meditation practices, show that stillness fuels innovation, reduces stress, sharpens focus, and restores balance. Silence is not emptiness, it is presence. It is where we confront our fears, process grief, and rediscover ourselves. Even brief periods of quiet, whether in nature, meditation, or reflective moments at home, cultivate clarity and renewal. Time is our most precious resource. Unlike money or possessions, it cannot be regained once lost. Yet, we often squander it on distractions or obligations that do not serve our priorities. Protecting time requires deliberate choices and boundaries, saying no to what doesn't matter, to say yes to what does. Warren Buffett exemplifies this discipline, reserving space for deep thinking and meaningful work. Similarly, people like the young entrepreneur Maya learned that safeguarding time through blocking deep work, turning off phones and saying no, restores balance, fuels creativity, and attracts better opportunities. Protecting your time also means protecting it from yourself. Distractions, procrastination, and overthinking can erode focus. Deliberate time management creates space for the profound. Relationships, growth, creativity, and experiences that enrich life. By simplifying goals, embracing silence, and guarding time, you reclaim clarity, focus, and balance. Life becomes less about business and more about presence, intentionality, and meaningful progress. Time is life itself, and protecting it is essential. Steve Jobs reminded us that our hours are limited, so we must design our days around values, not obligations or others' expectations. Business is not productivity. Real progress happens when we focus on what truly matters. Protect mornings for intention, evenings for reflection, and focus for meaningful work. By valuing time, we gain freedom, clarity, and the ability to invest our energy in growth, love, and purpose. Experiences, not possessions, bring lasting fulfillment. Material things fade, memories endure. Shared moments, adventures, and relationships shape identity and happiness. Minimalism is not deprivation, but prioritizing what truly matters. Time spent with loved ones, nature, or meaningful activities. Even small, free experiences can be rich and memorable, while possessions only provide temporary satisfaction. Stillness and silence are hidden powers. In a noisy world, we avoid quiet, yet reflection, insight, and clarity come from pausing. History shows great thinkers, Marcus Aurelius, Gandhi, Einstein, relied on stillness to cultivate wisdom and creativity. Stillness is not idleness, it is awareness, reflection, and the foundation for calm, purposeful action. It helps reduce stress, regain focus, and approach life with perspective. Practices like meditation, mindful walking, or brief daily pauses create space for clarity. Modern culture glorifies business, but constant activity blocks reflection and growth. Practices like the Japanese concept of the pause between actions, remind us that space gives meaning to life. Small moments of stillness allow us to confront fears, recognize priorities, and act with intention. The most powerful people remain calm amid chaos, anchoring themselves in stillness to make wise, purposeful decisions. Ultimately, experiences, time, and stillness form the foundation of a meaningful life. Protect your hours, invest in moments, and pause regularly. Motion without stillness leads to chaos. Motion from stillness leads to purpose. Embrace stillness as a strategy, a superpower, and a path to clarity, balance, and true fulfillment, there comes a moment when we realize that chasing more money, possessions, achievements only distances us from ourselves. Minimalism and simplicity teach that less can be greater. It's not just about clearing space in our environment, schedule, or relationships. It's about living aligned with our deepest values, finding joy in clarity, and embracing balance as true success. Those who radiate calm strength are not burdened by everything. They have chosen wisely, saying no to what drains them and yes to what matters. Simplicity is mastery. It frees the mind, clears distractions, and allows focus on what truly matters. Historical figures like Gandhi, with few possessions, and Steve Jobs, with his minimalist wardrobe, demonstrate that simplicity fuels clarity, creativity, and influence. Simplicity lets us see life as it really is. In silence and stillness, we reconnect with ourselves and feel whole. Yet choosing simplicity is challenging in a world that glorifies complexity and business. True worth lies in clarity, focus, and balance, not in excess. Stories of those who abandoned wealth for balance show that letting go restores health, joy, and meaningful connection. Minimalism is not about owning less. It's about living more with purpose. By releasing distractions and unnecessary burdens, we create space for peace, joy, and fulfillment. A simple life is not smaller, it is deeper. Focus sharpens vision, clarity lights the path, and balance carries us forward. In the end, living with purpose, presence, and freedom matters far more than accumulating things. Minimalism and simplicity are the keys to a life of true balance and lasting meaning.